Have you ever wondered how electricity appears out of nowhere when the main power supply fails? How do hospitals keep their life-saving equipment running? Or how do massive industries, ships, and even your own home stay powered during a blackout? The answer to all these questions is the generator. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the world of generators. We'll cover what a generator is, who invented it, how it works, its different types, and its real-world applications. By the end of this video, you'll understand generators like a professional engineer. So, let's get started. First things first, what exactly is a generator? A generator is a machine that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Now, this is a crucial point. A generator does not create electricity out of thin air. Instead, it uses the principle of electromagnetic induction to transform one form of energy into another. Think about it this way. When you rotate the dynamo on a bicycle, it powers a light. Or when a diesel engine runs, it can produce electricity. Even the wind turning the blades of a wind turbine is a form of mechanical energy being converted. All of these are examples of rotation being used to generate electrical power. So, who do we have to thank for this incredible invention? The foundations for the modern generator were laid by the brilliant scientist Michael Faraday back in 1831. Faraday discovered a fundamental principle of physics. When a conductor moves through a magnetic field, an electrical voltage is induced in that conductor. This is famously known as Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. His first invention, the Faraday disc, was a simple device, but it became the blueprint for every single generator we use today. It is amazing to think that a discovery from nearly 100 years ago is still at the heart of our modern power systems. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does a generator actually work? As we said, the core principle is electromagnetic induction. Let's break it down step by step. First, you need something to create mechanical motion. This is called the prime mover. It could be a diesel engine, a gas turbine, or even a water turbine in a dam. This prime mover turns a shaft. Attached to this shaft is a coil of wire, which we call the rotor. As the rotor spins, it moves through a magnetic field. This action of the wire cutting through the magnetic field lines induces a voltage in the wire, causing electrical current to flow. It's a beautifully simple concept. The faster the rotor spins, the higher the voltage. And the stronger the magnetic field, the more power you can get out of the generator. To make all this happen, a generator needs several key components working together. Let's look at the main parts. We already mentioned the prime mover, which provides the mechanical energy. Then you have the rotor, which is the rotating part that creates a magnetic field. Surrounding the rotor is the stator, which is a set of stationary copper windings. As the rotor's magnetic field sweeps past the stator windings, it induces the electrical current. But where does that magnetic field come from? That's the job of the excitation system. It provides the initial small amount of electricity needed to create the magnetic field in the rotor. Then there's the AVR, or automatic voltage regulator. This is the brain of the generator, constantly monitoring the output voltage and adjusting the excitation to keep it stable. Finally, you have the cooling system, which can be air or water-cooled, to prevent the generator from overheating, in the control panel, where you can monitor everything and ensure it's all running safely. Generators can be categorized in many ways. One common way is based on the type of electrical current they produce. First, we have AC generators, also known as alternators. These produce alternating current, which is the type of electricity that powers our homes and industries. You'll find alternators in power plants, in the diesel generator sets used for backup power, and in countless industrial applications. On the other hand, we have DC generators. These produce direct current. While less common today for general power, they are still used for specific applications like battery charging, electroplating processes, and in some older DC traction systems for trains and trams. Another way to classify generators is by the type of prime mover they use. The most common type you'll see is the diesel generator. They are incredibly reliable, efficient, and can be started up quickly, which is why they are the top choice for backup power in hospitals, commercial buildings, and factories. Next are gas generators. These run on natural gas or propane and are generally cleaner than diesel generators. producing fewer emissions. They are often used in places with a steady gas supply, like data centers or industrial parks. Then we have hydro generators. These are massive units found in hydroelectric power plants, where the force of falling water turns large turbines connected to the generators. And of course, there are wind generators or wind turbines, which use the power of the wind to turn their blades and generate clean, renewable energy. When you look at a generator's specifications, you'll often see its ratings, kW and kVA. This can be confusing, so let's clear it up. kW, or kilowatt, represents the actual power or useful power that the generator can supply to a load. It's the power that does real work, like lighting a bulb or running a motor. kVA, or kilovolt-ampere, represents the apparent power. This is the total power that the generator is capable of producing. The relationship between them is determined by something called the power factor. The formula is simple. Kilowatts equals kilovolt-amperes multiplied by the power factor. The power factor is a number between 0 and 1. For typical domestic loads, it's around 0.8. For industrial loads with lots of motors, it can be between 0.8 and 0.9. Because of this, generators are always rated in kVA, as it represents their full capacity, regardless of the type of load connected. Generators also come in all shapes and sizes, classified by their power rating. Small, portable generators typically range from 1 kVA to 10 kVA. These are perfect for powering homes during an outage, for small shops, or for use on a campsite. Medium-sized generators range from about 20 kVA up to 500 kVA. These are the workhorses you'll find in commercial buildings, hotels, and hospitals, providing substantial power for their critical operations. Then you have the large generators. We're talking about units rated at 1 MVA, which is 1000 kVA, and even higher. These industrial-scale giants are used in large manufacturing plants, data centers, and as the primary generating units in power plants. You may have also heard the terms single-phase and three-phase. This refers to the type of AC power the generator produces. A single-phase generator produces a single wave of power. The standard voltage is typically around 130 volts. This is what most homes and small offices use, as it's sufficient for lighting and common appliances. A three-phase generator, on the other hand, produces 3 overlapping waves of power. This provides a much smoother and more constant supply of energy. The standard voltage is higher, around 415 volts. Three-phase power is essential for industrial applications, large commercial buildings, and for running heavy-duty motors because it is more efficient and stable for high-power loads. Let's also briefly touch upon generator voltage ranges. The voltage a generator produces depends on its design and intended application. As we said, 130 volts is common for single-phase domestic use, and 115 volts is the standard for three-phase industrial use. But in large-scale power generation, the voltages are much higher. Generators in power plants often produce electricity at 6.6 kilovolts or 11 kilovolts. This high voltage is then stepped up even further by transformers to 33 kilovolts or more for efficient transmission over long distances across the power grid. We mentioned the excitation system earlier, which creates the magnetic field. There are 2 main types. The first is a self-excited generator. In this design, the generator uses a small portion of its own output power, which is rectified to DC, to energize its field windings. This is a simple and reliable system, which is why it's very common in modern diesel generator sets. The second type is a separately excited generator. Here, the magnetic field is created using an external DC power source, like a battery bank or a smaller dedicated generator. This method offers more precise control and is typically used in large-scale power plant generators where stability is absolutely critical. So, where do we see generators in our daily lives? The applications are everywhere. They are the lifeline for hospitals, ensuring that power is never interrupted for critical patients. They keep industrial production lines moving, preventing costly downtime. You'll find them on every construction site, powering tools and equipment far from the main grid. They are essential in the oil and gas industry, on remote offshore platforms, and on ships that are essentially floating cities. And increasingly, generators play a crucial role in renewable energy systems, providing backup power when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. To wrap it all up, why are generators so important? They provide the uninterrupted power that is essential for our modern world. They support critical infrastructure, drive industrial progress, and are a key component in integrating renewable energy into our power grids. Without generators, there would be no power plants, no emergency power for our hospitals and businesses, and a significant portion of our industrial economy would grind to a halt. From Michael Faraday's simple discovery to the massive, complex machines in our power plants, the generator is truly one of the most important inventions in human history. It's the beating heart of electrical engineering, and it works tirelessly behind the scenes to keep our world running. Hopefully, you now have a much clearer understanding of what a generator is and how it works. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of engineering. Thanks for watching.